All right, my lovely viewers, I'm not wasting any time. I'm not wasting a single second. I guess I just wasted 5. But I'm going to say right out the gate, right here, right now, that Mars Express is one of the best movies of the year. In fact, if it wasn't for Dune Part 2, this would be my favorite movie of the year. And like, the more I think about it, like I watched it again last night, and for this, it'd be my second viewing, and like, man, Dune Part 2 and Mars Express, they are battling it out, man. They are battling it out. I mean, regardless if it's number 1 or number 2, or sorry, regardless if Dune is number 1, which I'm kind of leaning towards it is, it's hard to compete with Dune Part 2. Mars Express is easily number 2, and it's not even close. Mars Express is a must-watch movie. You must, especially if you like adult animation or just animation in general. This movie is fucking phenomenal. It is one of the best science fiction movies I've seen. I think this movie is destined to be a cult classic, straight up. Now, when I think about like the iconic anime movies of our time, I think about Akira, I think about Ghost in the Shell. I think those two are kind of like the biggest, the ones that have stuck around pop culture for the longest. I don't think Mars Express is gonna hit that level. I don't think it's that memorable. If you're a fan of this genre and you've heard of movies like Paprika or Perfect Blue, those are movies that are very, very good and have like a cult following. And I feel like Mars Express is kind of like those movies, or even like a Miyazaki movie. That's how good I think this movie is. Again, not as good as like Akira, Ghost in the Shell. Those are like world-bending movies, but I think it belongs in that family of cult classic, adult animated films. And like, if you've watched all of the movies I just listed, or maybe just 1 or 2, and you like this stuff, shut me up, turn this fucking video off, and go watch Mars Express. Go watch it, come back, we'll have a discussion on it. It is so good. I'm the reason why I'm like really trying to beat you over the head with watching this movie is because not a whole lot of people have heard about this movie, and I think that's a damn shame. I feel like the more people that get to watch this movie, it will become that cult classic that I think that it deserves. So yeah, what is Mars Express is about? So, it takes place in the far future. We've colonized Mars. We got a small city on Mars, which is actually kind of cool visually. I don't think we've ever seen a colony on Mars before, at least visually. Obviously I think it's probably done in books, but I can't think of another movie or TV show that has like an actual city on Mars. So just aesthetically, just seeing a city in Mars, driving cars and towers and schools and neighborhoods, it's a pretty neat visual. So a murder takes place, and our main character Aline, who's a private detective with her partner Carlos, investigates the murder and goes deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. I'm going to keep the plot summary at that. I would kind of go a little further, but given this is a relatively unknown movie, I'm going to try and keep it light. However, I am going to get to spoilers. I'm going to talk about the ending and my thoughts on the ending, for those of you who have seen the movie. So stick around if you've seen the movie, and we'll talk about the ending later. But yeah, this is just an awesome science fiction movie. I mean, the story is captivating. It's fascinating. It's a crime drama. It's a mystery you're trying to solve with the characters. But just the sci-fi elements are so cool. It's like, they took for instance, there's like brain implants so people can have phone calls and conversations without using their mouths, and it's never explained. That's what's cool about this movie, is that a lot of the sci-fi elements, they don't over explain. There's no exposition. You just watch it on screen and you just kind of figure out what's happening. And like, bravo, like I'm so tired of like over explaining everything and exposition. This is how this works, this is how this works. A lot of the elements in this movie, they just show you and you get to process it as you're watching, and I think that's a genius move, and I love it. But yeah, talking, sending voicemails, sending information through your head. You got like holograms looking like real life, although that's kind of been done in other sci-fi movies, but it's cool to see here. It plays with this idea of like organic versus mechanical, like robots and organic synthetics. So like there's one moment, there's like an earpiece, so it's like this little organic, looks like a V. You stick it in your ear and it like warps on your head, and you can like have a phone call. I don't know, there's just a lot of special and cool, unique ideas I've never really seen before in a sci-fi movie. And like, you would think that after all this sci-fi stuff, we'd seen it all, but someone comes along like this and shows you things you've never seen before, and gotta respect it. Gotta respect the sci-fi game here. And as captivating as the story is, so are the characters. The characters in this movie are fleshed out. You get to spend time with them. They're relatable. You're rooting for them. I think the standout was her partner, the side character Carlos. His whole arc is phenomenal. He is one of the best characters in this movie, and man, he was so good. And this movie is actually kind of funny. A lot of good funny bits in the movie. There's a lot of good action in it. I just reviewed Trigger Warning, and I was talking about how like sometimes action scenes go too long, and a lot of movies kind of revel in the action, and it's just like, extended fight scenes that kind of go way too long, and it becomes exhausting. But I respect this movie in that the action is very, very short but impactful, and it's also elevated by the awesome score. It's like very techno-y, very boomy. But yeah, I love the action in this movie. There's one action set piece that's very small that happens on a highway, like a highway shootout kind of. I won't spoil more than that, but a lot of good action scenes, and the way the climax of this movie is intense and amazing and kind of on the edge of your seat. Again, I won't spoil what happens in the end there, but yeah, great stuff. Okay, so before I get into spoilers, I'm just going to give you, please go see this movie. It is fantastic. It is one of the best science fiction movies I've seen. It is one of the best movies of the year. I don't know if I can confidently say it's the best movie of the year, because that Dune Part 2 was a banger, but it is easily like top 5 best movies of the year. Please go check this one out. Give this movie some love, and yeah, when you go back and watch it, come back to the spoiler section here, and we'll talk about the ending. Okay, so full spoilers for the ending right now. So I gotta ask you guys, do you guys think that the robots died? Because I was kind of like, the first time I watched it, I thought that was the case, but when I watched it the second time, I actually think they survived. I think they're putting their consciousness into the ship, which I caught the first time, but for whatever reason, the first time I thought they were going to go off and die. But the second time I watched it, they put their consciousness in the spaceship, and then I think they're going to go to that planet. Like, do you guys remember there's a lot of scenes. Actually, I think there's 2 main scenes in this movie where the movie talks about there's this planet that's like in the solar system. They sent out a probe like 10 years ago to see if it was inhabitable, and it turns out it's not. But the movie kind of spotlights that kind of side thing for a little bit. So it makes me think that that's where the robots went, is to this like side planet thing that the movie keeps mentioning. But yeah, I would love to know you guys' thoughts. Like, do you guys think that the robots survived? Do you think that they died when they went up into the atmosphere? When Carlos is walking with the group, he even tells them like, hey, you guys are being ordered to go out into space, and it will kill every single one of us. And I forget is it Betty, Martha? I don't know, the other robot that talks to the main character throughout the movie. She's like, yeah, we've known about this. Humans have deceived us throughout history, and trust me, we're well aware of what's happening. So it made me think that like, they kind of saw this coming, or they're overriding their programming here, and they're going off to that planet. That's kind of how I interpreted it, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know if that's how you interpreted it. I love how this movie is like, the ending is like, it goes all the way to the top with the shareholders, and I thought that was kind of interesting. The fact that, they're trying to push this certain tech, and it's not working. So in order to raise profits, you got to get rid of the old product to get to make way for the new ones. I thought that was kind of a cool way to end the movie. It was a bummer that Homegirl died. That was I was like, man, but homeboy Carlos made it. I love that scene when he goes back to his wife's house, and that fucking husband keeps shooting him, and I don't know. So good, man. This movie is so damn good. So anyways, we're in spoiler territory. I already gave my thing earlier. Just, again, I'm going to beat you over the head with this. Please go check this one out. It's incredible. It's amazing. Let me know. If you've seen the movie, let me know what you think. And I will see you on the next one.